And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Falcon Park here for the summer of 2023. It is Sunday, July the 16th. We've got a doubleheader awaiting you. The Jamestown Tarp Skunks will take on the Auburn Doubledays here on this glorious Sunday afternoon for our first matinee game of the summer. Let's read you, first of all, the starting lineups for tonight's game. We'll get those to you shortly. We'll get the pitching matchups as well. But first, we need to take a look ahead to the postseason picture. Top four teams from both the West and the East make it on to the postseason. The Doubledays currently right now 4 games behind the wild card spot in the 4th spot. For the Niagara Power, they currently sit at 17-12, 3 games back of the division lead. The Doubledays right behind them at 13-16, 7 games back of the division lead of Batavia. So if the season were to end tomorrow, the Doubledays would be out of the postseason picture. Batavia, Jamestown, Elmira, and Niagara will have the first 4 spots. It's getting a little tighter as we get towards the end of the summer. Batavia standing strong at 21-10, Jamestown at 18-10, a game and a half back. Elmira at 18-12, 2.5 back, and the Niagara Power at 17-12, 3 games back. Doubledays, we mentioned 13-16, 7 games back. And then the 2 feet of the division, the Newark Pilots at 7-20, 12 games back, and the Geneva Red Wings at 7-21. They are 12.5 games back. Well, for the Doubledays this summer, an up and down year despite outscoring opponents by 54 runs. They've outscored the Jamestown Tarp Skunks by 7 and currently lead the season series 2-0, winning Game 1 back here inside Falcon Park on June the 9th. That was a 6-0 home win. And then back on Friday night in Jamestown after a long, lengthy bus ride, came out of the gate swinging. The Doubledays were able to win their first one-run game in conference play this season 5-4. Currently, the Doubledays in those one-run games are 2-5 with a win against the Cortland Crush, but that does not count to PGCBL standings. So it's currently a 1-5 in one-run affairs. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's ballgame. First, for the visiting Tarp Skunks, as announced by manager Jordan Buzzell, leading things off will be the right fielder Paul Catanalo, batting second, the designated hitter, and Tommy Googans batting third. Will be the catcher Henry Juwan batting fourth. The third baseman, Jake Kernoodle, batting 5th. The shortstop, Matt Johnson, batting 6th. Will be the second baseman, Grady Mee, batting 7th. The center fielder, Zach Kent, batting 8th. The left fielder, Kieran Gagno, batting 9th. The extra hitter, Jared Munoz, and batting 10th, rounding off the order, the first baseman, Colin Hauk. They're going to go up against a left-hander, Huxley Holcomb, on the season, who's 1-2 overall, a 2.33 ERA in 27 innings pitched. He's given up 7 runs. All those were earned. 16 hits, 11 walks, 30 strikeouts. Opponents batting .216 on the Cornell commit. Now let's take a look at the starting lineups for the Doubledays, as announced by manager Ben Julian. Leading things off will be the shortstop, Carson Gross. Batting second, the extra hitter, Fernando Espinal, batting third. The designated hitter, Hazel Martinez, batting fourth. The catcher, Bobby Stang, batting 5th. Will be the left fielder, Christian Melillo, batting 6th. Will be the right fielder, A.J. Wenrich, batting 7th. Will be the center fielder, Emil Sander, batting 8th. Will be the third baseman, James Mason, batting 9th. The first baseman, Hal Walker Jr., and batting 10th, rounding off the order, will be the second baseman, Kevin Dolan. Doubledays will go up against a freshman from the University, of St. John's University. It'll be Evan Chaffee. So currently on the season so far, a 4.79 ERA. 2-1 start to the year in 20 innings and 2/3 pitched. He's given up 11 runs. All those have been earned. Has given up 22 hits, walked 10, struck out 19. Opponents batting .275 on the year. Doubledays offense are going to need to get them working again. Last night against Batavia Muckdogs in the 2.5 innings we had played, the Doubledays, through the first part of the order, struck out 6 times. And then back the other night, it was a lengthy 12-night strikeout game between both Casey Gilman and Evan Berta for Jamestown. So avoiding the strikeouts is a must-need for this Doubledays offense. Lineup cards being distributed at home plate, and we are just about ready for first pitch here inside Falcon Park. We'll be right back here on the Doubledays Baseball Network. And welcome back to Falcon Park. The Doubledays have taken the field against the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. Let's see how they'll line up defensively behind starting pitcher Huxley Holcomb going out to the outfield. Christian Malillo, Emil Sander, and A.J. Wenrich left to right. James Mason, Carson Gross, Kevin Dolan, and Hal Walker Jr. across the infield. And behind the plate, doing the catching, will be Bobby Stang. For Holcomb this year so far, it's been a .233 ERA in 27 innings pitched. He's a 1-2 on the year, 7 runs, all those earned, 16 hits, 11 walks, 30 strikeouts, and opponents batting .216 on the hard-throwing left-hander committed to Cornell. Now let's take a look at the Tarp Skunks starting lineup once again. Leading things off will be the right fielder Paul Catanalo batting second, the designated hitter and Tommy Googans batting third, the catcher Henry Juwan batting fourth. The third baseman Jake Kernoodle batting fifth will be the shortstop Matt Thompson batting sixth. The second baseman Grady Mee batting seventh. The center fielder Zach Kent batting eighth. The left fielder Kieran Gagno batting ninth. The extra hitter Jared Munoz and batting 10th, rounding off the order, Colin Houck, the first baseman. Auburn last night took the long bus trip down to Batavia, got about 2.5 innings into that game before the rain came back down and flooded Dwyer Stadium. Game was called off just a short time after that. Bus trip went home quite smoothly, and then we are back here for the doubleheader today. Both of these games will be 7-inning affairs between the Doubledays and the Tarp Skunks. This is a scheduled doubleheader. This is not meant to replace any games that we might have missed throughout the course of the summer. Paul Catanalo, the left-hander, will lead things off against Huxley Holcomb, who delivers the windup and the first pitch on the way. A fastball taken for a called strike on the outside corner, and we are underway. 78 degrees and sunny, 75% humidity in the air for this 2:03 first pitch. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. Slider up the middle off the knee of Holcomb. He's got it with the left hand, sends a throw to Walker Jr. at first base. And there's your first out in the top half of the first inning. Holcomb taking an extra step off the mound after taking a line drive right back to the leg. Took a hop before getting to the plant leg, it looks like, on the follow through. He's taking an extra time. One away. Here we are in the top half of the first inning. That will bring up Tommy Googans, the designated hitter. Batting .276 on the year so far. The first pitch on the way. Fastball runs a bit too much on the inside corner for ball 1-1-0. 12 walks, 7 stolen bags. Need to keep him off the bases. He's been doing that this year with a .403 on base. Here comes the 1-0 pitch on the way from Holcomb. A fastball taken downstairs low for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Smallest crowd we've had on the year so far for this first of 2 games tonight. Here comes the 2-0 pitch on the way from Holcomb. A fastball, cute foul down the first base side and out of play. Count rolls to 2 balls and a strike. Mason, Gross, Dolan, and Walker Jr. A couple of names that I don't think we've had a full game with those guys all in the infield at the same time. Here's the 2-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball taken downstairs in the dirt for ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike to Googans. Just saw these Tarp Skunks a couple of games ago back in Jamestown. Here comes the 3-1 pitch on the way. Swinging a pop-up foul. First base side out of play. And the count runs full at 3-2. Googans an 0 for 2 at night. A couple of walks and a stolen bag and a run scored. Holcomb peers in to Stang, gets his sign. From the middle of the rubber, the windup and the 3-2 pitch on the way. Fastball runs upstairs and away for ball 4. It's a 1-out walk to Googans that brings up the catcher, Henry Juwan. Back to that Friday night game on the 14th. Juwan went 0 for 2. Make that 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. Strikeout victim as well. Sam Huff got the start in that one. Got the win. Casey Gilman the loss. Michael Sills the save. Here's the first pitch on the way to Juwan. A breaking ball taken over the plate but downstairs for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Two 7-inning games here to complete the week on Sunday. Get a day off tomorrow. The 1-0 pitch on the way, swinging a line drive foul, first base side off into the crowd. Count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. One away with Googans aboard at first base after the walk. 7 stolen bags on with a healthy lead. Holcomb, the left-hander, already has 1 man picked off this year. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Never mind, a throw over to first base, and back in standing is Googans with the throw, sending Hal Walker Jr. to his right side with a stretch. Partly cloudy skies overhead, but Falcon Park is lit by the natural sun for the first time this year. Here comes the 1-1 pitch on the way. Fastball taken for a called strike 2 on the inner third. And this is where Holcomb needs his men here. Third base coach Jordan Buzzil. Manager for the Tarp Skunks. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball taken inside on the corner for a called third strike. Roy Bryant, the home plate umpire, gets Henry Juwan looking. 2 away, and that will bring up Jake Kernoodle. This is the part where Huxley Holcomb really establishes the fastball inside on right-handers, then mixes in the good breaking ball off the back foot. Couple of looks over. There goes the runner. Breaking ball outside. The throw to second from Bobby's knees. The tag applied by Dolan's not in time. That's swiped bag number 8 on the season so far for Googans. He's in scoring position with 2 away. With 12 RBIs on the year. Here comes the 1-0 pitch on the way from Holcomb. A fastball that runs inside and spins him. Back out of the batter's box, taking a look down to third. Right-hander works back into the box. Open stance with the left red shin guard aboard. Here comes the 2-0 pitch on the way. Fastball inside, crowds him for ball 3. Does have a base open, and Matt Thompson, the 5-hitter, would be due up next. Holcomb, a couple of shakes with the head before he looks in. Gets his sign, now comes set. Dolan working the runner back from second. The 3-0 on the way. Swing, jam shot right to the shortstop. Carson Gross, he's there to make the catch, and the side is retired. A man reaches and gets the scoring position, but is left stranded. We now go to the bottom half of the first inning. The Tarp Skunks nothing, and the Doubledays coming up. And welcome back to Falcon Park here in the bottom half of the first inning. The Doubledays will send up Carson Gross, Fernando Espinal, and Hazel Martinez against a left-handed pitcher, Evan Schaffe, on the year so far. A 4.79 ERA, 2-1 on the year. 20 2/3 innings pitch. He's given up 11 runs, all those earned, 22 hits, walked 10, struck out 19. And opponent's batting .275 against the lengthy left-hander. Carson Gross, the switch hitter, makes his way into the right-hand batter's box. Takes a look at the first pitch on the way. A fastball taken over the heart of the plate for a called strike 0-1. Well, Doubledays against left-handed pitching, not as dangerous as they are against right-handers. The 0-1 pitch on the way, swinging a jam shot down the left field line. That's going to sink in for a base hit, and it'll be picked up by Gagno, making the turn at first base and anchoring to the bag is Carson Gross. It's a leadoff base hit in the bottom half of the first inning, and that will bring up Fernando Espinal. Doubledays against left-handed pitching, batting .208, on base of a .367, a slugging of a .262, an OPS of .630 against Southpaws. The first pitch on the way to Espinal, a fastball that runs too tight inside for ball one, 1 ball, and no strikes. Fernando coming in just a couple of days ago. Make that about a week he's been here. Wow, that week has flown by quickly. Carson lead off of first base healthy. Move over to the bag in safely. 8 stolen bases on the year for Carson. Has only been caught twice. If he were to go, he'd go on first move, and as soon as the left-hander makes any sort of motion, Carson will be off, and let's see if that happens this at bat. The 1-0 pitch on the way, swinging a line drive, foul, first base side off into the stands. Count evens up at 1-1. More and more people have started to make their way into the ballpark, but it's still a very light crowd on hand for this Sunday game 1. Infield shifted into a double play depth. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Fastball runs upstairs for ball 2, 2 balls and 1 strike. The defense for Jamestown, Kieran Gagno, Zach Kent, Paul Catanalo in the outfield. Jake Kernodle, Matt Thompson, Grady Mee, and Colin Hauk on the infield with Henry Jew on the catcher. Long pause. There goes the runner. Pitch is taken inside for a strike. The throw to second base with a headlong slide. Carson Gross swipes bag number 9 of the year. The Doubledays have a runner aboard at second base here in the bottom half of the first inning. Nobody out, but a 2-2 count to Espinal, who took a fastball to make sure Gross got into second base easily. Usually catches like a pitch on the outside corner to right-handers if they want to get a runner out. The 2-2. Breaking ball backs up outside for ball 3, full count. Fernando with 2 RBIs so far this year, has walked twice, batting a .182. Long look at Carson. Here's the 3-2 pitch on the way, swinging a pop fly foul, first base side off behind the grandstand, so we'll retry at a full count. Different look defensively as well for Jamestown since Friday. Both ball clubs going up with different lineups here in the first of 2 games. Big hole on the right side of the infield. Here's the 3-1 pitch on the way. Fastball bounces in for ball 4. So Espinal works a walk after being down 0-2. He'll get a board over to first base. Runners at first and second here with still nobody out, and that will bring up Hazel Martinez. Good opportunity for Hazel here at the .306 average. 8 doubles with a home run, 21 RBIs, has walked 19 times. Runners take their leads at first and second. Here's the first pitch on the way to the left-hander. Breaking ball waved at and missed in the dirt for strike 1. Nothing won the count to Martinez with runners in scoring position this year. He's batting .333 with 26 RBIs. Check that, that's 16 RBIs. Swinging a line drive to right field. That sinks in for a base hit. Gross getting the wave around third. He's getting the wave on. The throw to the plate is on a hop tag applied. Not in time. Gross swipes his hand across home plate for the tag from Henry Juwan. Beats him. And the Doubledays have a 1-0 lead thanks to Hazel Martinez. An RBI single sends Fernando Espinal up to third base. So Doubledays strike first in every single game so far this season against Jamestown. It's an RBI single for Hazel Martinez. And that brings up Bobby Stang. Bobby this year so far, .306 average as well, 30 for his last 98. 17 doubles with a team lead and 27 RBIs. That also is a team lead. Here's the first pitch from the left-hander on the way. A fastball that zips across the inside corner for a called strike. 0-1 the count. Bobby's last RBI came against these Tarp Skunks. It was a ringing double to dead center field that scored Hazel Martinez. The 0-1 pitch on the way, swing and a miss, and Bobby was going for the batting cages down beyond the left field wall, comes up empty. Chafee pulled a string on a changeup outside at 74. Bobby down in the hole, 0-2. Martinez with a very short lead off first base. Here comes the 0-2 on the way, swing and a miss. Bobby comes up empty on a pitch in the dirt, one away, and that will bring up Christian Malillo. Malillo so far this year batting .261. He's seen that average fall after a really hot start at the end of June. A stomach bug took him out of contention for a couple of weeks. Still trying to feel the effects get to wear off as a line drive is sent foul, first base side off into the distance. 0-1 to count to the Houston native. 1 run in here in the top, make that the bottom half of the first inning. Looks in, here's the pitch on the way, swinging a ground ball over to third base, up with it for 1. The relay to first base is in time for the 5-4-3. The Tarp Skunks go around the horn to end the Doubledays threat, but they still strike for 1 as we now go to the top half of the second inning. The Doubledays lead it 1-0. Picking things up here in the top half of the second inning from Falcon Park. Matt Thompson, Grady Mee, and Zach Kent due up in order 5, 6, and 7 for the Tarp Skunks against Huxley Holcomb, who had a clean top half of the first inning despite a walk. Here's the left-hander's first pitch on the way. A fastball taken down and inside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Hopefully Huxley was able to have a good night's rest after the early ending from Batavia. Here comes the 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball jammed up the middle over to shortstop. Carson Gross has got it. Long throw across, and it's in time to get Matt Thompson by a couple of steps, and there's 1 away to begin the top half of the second inning. I'll bring up Grady Mee, the second baseman, batting .302 on the year. Still getting on base at a high clip at a .398. Well, we got back from Jamestown a little bit past the 1:30 a.m. marker on Friday night into Saturday morning. First pitch on the way, a breaking ball swung on and missed, strike 1 to Grady Mee. We were half expecting to maybe get back by 1 a.m. again last night if that was the case, if we were able to play the game. The 0-1 pitch on the way from Holcomb, swinging a line drive through the left side for a base hit. And the baseball rolls on into the glove of Christian Malillo in left field. So a 1-out base runner for Jamestown, and that will bring up Zach Kent, the center fielder. But as we mentioned, though, the late bus rides over the last couple of games have certainly been a little taxing on the players so far. We haven't expected that to be the case. A late Friday night, the possibility of a long Saturday, and then the doubleheader tonight. Much needed day off tomorrow. Couple looks at first. The first pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive foul over towards the first base area out of play. As I mentioned, it's a very small crowd on hand here for game one. We did have a good showing of the Booster Club bus effort to get fans from Falcon Park out to Dwyer Stadium. Couple looks over at first base. Healthy lead by me. Long look by Holcomb. Here comes the 0-1. Bouncer in the dirt for ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Back to the bag is me after Bobby took a look down to first base. Fans, though, made their presence known down in Batavia. They had the cowbells ringing and the white shirts that was handed out a couple of nights ago. Couple looks over to first base by Huxley. Long pause. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Check swing upstairs. It's called a strike regardless. It's now 1-2 on Zach Kent. Tarp Skunks offense not doing it much with the slugging. Batting .236 as a ball club, and the slugging's at a .299. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball backs up outside for ball 2. It evens up at 2-2. Not a lot of extra base hits. However, it's the stolen bags at 101 that make the Jamestown Tarp Skunks dangerous. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a jam shot right through the open 4-hole for a base hit. It snakes on into right field. A.J. Wenrich sends the throw back into the cutoff man. It's 2 singles with 1 away. Back-to-back, me and Kent. 2 on for Kieran Gagno. See how the rest of the season plays out, though. Like we mentioned, Doubleday is only 4 games out of that wild card spot, which we're calling the 4th seed in the West. Flip it over to the East. It's a little bit more of a painted picture on what the postseason will look like. Dancing off the bags. Here's the first pitch on the way. Breaking ball catches the outside corner for a called first strike. It's 0-1. Well, we've seen Holcomb touch into the maybe the lower 90s, upper 8s. Hasn't hit anything north of 88 yet tonight. There goes the runners. Pitch is taken upstairs. The throw to second base. Tag applied by Carson Gross, and it is in time to get Zach Kent on the back end at second base. Grady Mee in safely at third, but 2 away. Bobby Stain catches another one trying to swipe the bag. And it's 2 outs with the runner anchored at third base. So Holcomb now just 1 out away from ending the jam. Here's the pitch on the way. Breaking ball taken down and inside for ball 2, 2-1. We mentioned the stolen bags number this year for Jamestown entering into the ball game. 101. They get caught 26 times, make that 27 now. Here comes the 2-1 pitch from Holcomb. Swinging a chopper. Third base side, but it will roll foul. Now the count will even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. As much as we do like evening ball games, I do certainly like a matinee game every now and then. Gives you still the rest of your evening, and then along with the day off, you almost have a day and a half off. It's a whole nother game to play. Luckily, these are only 7s. Left-hander deals the 2-2 pitch on the way. Fastball runs upstairs at 89 for ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The inning continues. Jared Munoz awaits on deck. Gagno with 8 RBIs on the year. Another one looking at third. Here's the 3-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Huxley Holcomb is able to escape the jam thanks to a helping hand on defense. We now go to the bottom half of the second inning. The Doubledays still leading 1-0. Bottom of the second inning, we're rolling over in this one. It'll be A.J. Wenrich, Emil Sander, and James Mason for the Doubledays against Evan Chaffee, the left-hander. Wide open up the middle with Matt Thompson, the shortstop, playing deep in the 6-hole. The first pitch on the way to Wenrich is a fastball that limbos him out of the way inside. 1 ball and no strikes to the Georgia Southern right fielder. Batting $163 on the year. Here comes the 1-0 pitch on the way. Breaking ball left over the plate. Popped foul. First base side. Off the mask is Henry Juon. He watches that ball sail off into the crowd. Count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike as we begin the bottom half of the second. The left-hander wheels and deals. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Swinging a pop-up. Third base side. Moving over is Jake Kernodle in now closer to the Doubledays dugout, and he's there in foul territory to make the catch for out number 1. A.J. Wenrich retired. That will bring up Emil Sander. Sander batting .269 on the year so far, 7 for 26, but his hits have come on bunt singles. First pitch on the way, swing and a miss, a fastball at the top of the zone, 0-1. Got 2 hits against the Tarp Skunks. Both of those came from bunts. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. Swinging a tapper foul, third base side, and now the count rolls to 0-2. This is the type of pitcher you need to attack here. You don't know what comes out of the rest of that Jamestown bullpen, and when you have yourselves an 18-10 record overall, you have some guys to work with. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way to Sander. Swing and a miss. He waves at a nasty changeup outside the zone in the other batter's box at 71. Back-to-back outs for the Doubledays in the second. Now we'll bring up James Mason to see if he can extend the inning. Second strikeout of the game so far for Chaffee. First pitch to Mason. Breaking ball backs up outside for ball 1. Take a look at the schedule going forward. Got the day off tomorrow after the 2 games today. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball taken over the heart of the plate for a called strike. It evens up the count at 1-1. Day off. We got a game tomorrow out in Newark. That is against the Niagara Power in a makeup game. I'll start at 4 o'clock. We will be playing as the home side. The 1-1 pitch is cute foul, first base side. 1 ball and 2 strikes now the count. That's a doubleheader here inside Falcon Park for Wednesday the 19th. Game 1, Newark will be the home team. Game 2, we will be the home team. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball backs up outside once again for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Finger Lakes Falcons, that is an NYCBL team. That is a game added on the 20th. Then at home against Geneva on Friday night. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball. Spoiled foul down the first baseline. Mason just throws the bat head out. He's able to keep his battle going. Hal Walker Jr. awaits on deck if it gets to him. Mason's hands choked up and down low towards the shoulder. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Check swing on a ground ball right to the mound. Moving over for it is Chaffee. He's got it. The throw to first base is in time to retire the side in the order. We now go to the 3rd inning. Doubledays lead it 1-0. And welcome back here in the top half of the third inning. The Doubledays have a slim to 1-0 lead over the Tarp Skunks. It'll be Jared Munoz, Colin Hauk, and Paul Catanalo. 9, 10, and 1 due up against Huxley Holcomb, out for his third inning of work. It's been breezing through so far, only 2 hits surrendered and a walk. Here comes the left-hander's first pitch on the way. A fastball swung on and missed on the inner third for a swinging first strike, 0-1. That's the first time we've seen Tarp Skunk swing at the first pitch. Here comes the 0-1 pitch on the way. Fastball bounces in for ball 1, 1 ball and 1 strike. Holcomb, we've mentioned already, committed to Cornell. One of the few Ivy League players that are on the field right now. Here comes the 1-1 pitch on the way. Swinging a jam shot, shallow center field. Going back on it's Carson Gross. He's there to make the catch in shallow center for out number 1. Double-A shortstop has been busy so far this early afternoon. 1 away, and that will bring up the first baseman, Colin Hauk. Small sample size for Hauk so far this year, 250 average. Brought in 6 batters. Only 1 extra base hit so far. First pitch on the way from Holcomb's a fastball that runs inside for ball 1, 1 ball, no strikes. Open bullpen tonight for the Doubledays. A lot of days off and a lot of pitchers that haven't been used. Thank you to Sam Huff for getting about 6 innings and then some on Friday night. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Jam shot foul down the first base side. Count evens up at 1-1. Wind quite calm today so far. Maybe a little breeze here and there in and out, but other than that, it's nothing that has brought the flags like Batavia. A 1-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball backs up outside for ball 2, 2-1. Trying to guess the attendance tonight so far, or I guess for today right now, what do we got? Probably a good maybe 50 or 60 in the stands. 2-1 pitch on the way. Swing and a foul back overhead. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, even on the more slower days, Falcon Park has been able to get a pretty good crowd on hand. Usually about 200 to 300 people every night, it seems like. Today, game 1 at a 2 o'clock start, not in the cards. 2-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball backs up outside. Holcomb hasn't found the snap that he's liked on it so far. Has only been able to get 1 curveball on the back door for a called strike tonight so far. The left-hander from the windup looks into Bobby. Delivers the 3-2 pitch on the way. Fastball sent foul, first base side out of play. And we saw this a lot from Jamestown over on Friday night. A lot of foul balls, a lot of spoiled pitches, a lot of weak contact to keep at-bats alive and drive the pitcher's pitch counts up. Bobby sets up low and away. Here comes the 3-2 pitch once again. Swinging a pop fly. On the infield, Hal Walker Jr. calling it. Backing up, backpedaling into the outfield grass and maybe takes a couple of steps into shallow right for out number 2. Back-to-back outs on the afternoon here in the third inning. And that will flip the order back to the top for Paul Catanalo. Over 1 so far on the afternoon. A ground out back to Huxley in the first to lead off the ball game. First pitch on the way. Breaking ball does not catch the inner third for ball 1, 1 ball, and no strikes. Outfield for the Doubleday shifted more to the pull side for the left-hander and shallow. Seen Doubleday's outfield play quite shallow a lot this year. 1-0 pitch on the way. Jam shot for third base side. Moving over is James Mason towards the warning track. He's there to make the catch, and that will end the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Tarp Skunks in the third. We now go to the bottom half of the inning. Doubleday still with a 1-0 lead. Moving quite along nicely here in the bottom half of the third inning. The Doubledays have Hal Walker Jr., Kevin Nolan, and then the top of the order in Carson Gross due up against Evan Schaffe, the left-hander for Jamestown. Other than the first inning, has started to breeze through this ball game. The first pitch on the way to Walker Jr. is a fastball taken with a strike in the dirt, swinging 0-1. Auburn at home so far this year, batting .230. They've been able to score 97 runs inside Falcon Park. 0-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball moves off the plate inside on the back foot for ball one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Doubledays this year batting .236 as a team. 171 runs scored. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Fastball runs tight, but is taken on the corner for a called strike 2. Walker taking an extra step out with a big breath in and out. Resets and digs himself back in. Left-hander fans the glove in front of his nose. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball runs up too high for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Walker with the knob poked up. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball misses outside for ball 3. Count runs full 3-2. 6 walks on the year for Walker Jr. so far. A .258 on base. Here comes the 3-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a fly ball down the right field line, slicing away and slicing out. A play for foul ball. Count still remains full at 3-2 as Jamestown's defense starts to make their way back to their regular positions. Auburn in their home white, Jamestown in their road blacks with neon blue and green tinted around. Here's the 3-2 pitch once again. Breaking ball taken on the inner third for strike 3. Strikeout number 3 on the ball game so far for Schaffe. 1 away, and that will bring up the local product in Kevin Dolan. Kevin's parents are always in the crowd down behind the first base, make that third base dugout. The first pitch on the way. Fastball runs upstairs for ball 1 ball and no strikes. Playing the fans here. Still remember Kevin from his Auburn High School days at Brockport this year. The 1-0 on the way. Swinging a ground ball sent up the middle and through for a base hit. So the Doubledays have a 1-out base runner and a little speed aboard. And that will bring the top of the order back up to Carson Gross. That's Kevin's second hit of the year in PGCBL play. He had a couple back against the Syracuse Saltcats a couple of nights ago. It's the Doubledays' third hit in the ball game, and that turns the order back to the top second time through. That makes 6 straight retired, make that 7 straight retired gone. First pitch on the way to Carson Gross is a fastball taken outside, make that a changeup on the outer third for a call to strike 0-1. Still beaming down and have a couple of darker clouds overhead the ballpark. Hopefully the rain is all but done for the day. 0-1 pitch on the way. Fastball runs inside too tight for ball 1. Evens up the count at 1-1. The wind is starting to pick up and showing the stars and stripes headed down the right field line. Left-handers will have a lot nicer of a day than right-handed hitters, that's for certain. Dolan with the lead off first, the 1-1. Swinging a jam shot, first base side, but foul out of play. Our only score so far is a 1 run back in the bottom half of the first inning. Hazel Martinez scoring Carson Gross from second base on a base hit to right field. Look over at first base and a move over. Dolan back in, standing up. Only about 2.5 feet off the bag at first base. Some pitchers in the Doubledays bullpen just standing around, stretching. Huxley Holcomb has been working well so far. The 1-2 pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Runner takes off, and Dolan to throw down to second base. The baseball's kicked away. Tag reapplied. Did he get back onto the base? We're still waiting. And it's no, he is safe. A stolen bag for Kevin Dolan. Carson Gross is retired on a strikeout swinging. But a delayed steal by the Doubledays second baseman. Now time is called as Jordan Budzill wants to have a talk with the field umpire about the play at second base. It was a delayed steal, so he took off as soon as the pitch was delivered. Carson struck out on a tight inside fastball. And the throw to second base most likely would have beaten Dolan if it wasn't for the control of the baseball from the second baseman. Grady Mead didn't have a good glove on it. Dolan's dive in actually kicked the baseball away, but also slid past the second base bag, which as well could have been trouble if Mead was able to get the tag back on, and it wasn't in time. Runner now in scoring position, 2 away, and that will bring up Fernando Espinal, looking for his first official at-bat. He walked in the first. First pitch coming. Swinging a pop-up, right field, and it's medium depth, gliding over down the line. Catanelo's there. He makes the catch, and the side is retired. Auburn gets a hit and a runner in scoring position, but leave him stranded. We now go to the 4th inning. The Doubledays with a slim 1-0 lead. Picking things up here in the top half of the 4th inning. This game is breezing along by. Tommy Googans, Henry Juwan, and Jake Kernodle will lead things off here against Huxley Holcomb back out for another inning of work. The left-hander has been quite dominant so far in this lefty-lefty matchup. Currently, Auburn has the upper hand in a 1-0 ball game. The first pitch on the way from the Cornell commit is a fastball that runs too tight inside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Mentioned a couple of Ivy League guys. Here's one of them in Tommy Googans from Liberty, Ohio, off to Princeton. The 1-0 on the way, swinging a jam shot down the right field line, slicing away from Wenrich. He's moving over, running out of room, but he makes the catch in front of the Jamestown bullpen for the first out. Quickly 1 away here in the 4th, and that will bring up Henry Juwan. There's something about games with the Doubledays where they just start to breeze on by. We've had plenty of quick outings on offense for both ball clubs. A lot of quick outs. Holcomb, a strikeout guy, but has seen a weak contact so far this afternoon, as the first pitch is a breaking ball taken on the inside corner for a called strike 1. Only 2 strikeouts on the ball game so far for Holcomb, who's used to seeing a lot more numbers, more north near the 10 range. The 0-1 pitch on the way, swung and fouled down the first base side. Walker Jr. giving a chase, but is running out of room and heads off into the picnic area. 0-2 the count. Jamestown hitters, we talked about this earlier, but 59 runs on the road. Currently not seeing that offense here the second time Jamestown has entered this ballpark and hasn't scored a run. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way, swinging a chopper over to second base. Dolan's got it, and he calmly sends a toss over to Walker Jr. at first base for the second out. I'll bring up Jake Kernodle, the third baseman. He's 0 for 1. He lined out back to Gross in the bottom half of the first, make that the top half of the first inning to end the inning. bright electric green bat tape. First pitch on the way from Holcomb is a breaking ball that runs upstairs for ball 1. Well, Jamestown does definitely have some of the best uniforms / the colors we've seen so far in the rest of the league. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball, spoiled foul. First base side a little tardy at 87 on the hands. The home jerseys for Jamestown as well, very poppy. White jerseys with the skunk tail on both the front and the back. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive back to the screen, foul, and we'll try it now at 1-2. The electric blue and that electric green also color still sticks around. Really does pop out on the jerseys. The only thing that looks a little interesting is the black all around. Kind of looks more like softball uniforms. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball, check swing. Yes, he goes around. Huxley Holcomb, strikeout number 3 on the afternoon. He's cruising through this Jamestown order. We now go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. The Doubledays lead it 1-0. Moving forward through this one quite well here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Hazel Martinez, Bobby Stang, and Christian Malillo will go up against the left-hander Evan Chaffee, who's been dealing quite well despite the bottom half of the 1st inning. The Doubledays got a couple of hits, including an RBI single from this man, Hazel Martinez. Infield shifted towards the big poppy pool. Here's the first pitch on the way. Fastball runs up above the eyes for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Colin Houck, the first baseman, playing a step down the line and deep. The 1-0. Fastball runs outside for ball 2. Grady Mee, the second baseman, playing a little more into shallow right field with the shortstop, Matt Thompson, playing now completely on the first base side of second base. Big hole opened on the shortstop side. The 2-0 on the way. Fastball runs outside for ball 3, 3-0. Third baseman Jake Kernodle, the lone man on the third base side of the infield in the deep 6 hole. Here's the lefty 3-0 pitch on the way. A fastball dots the outside corner for a called strike. It's now 3-1. Good day to be a pitcher right now so far, especially for Huxley Holcomb, dealing for the Doubledays pitching staff. The 3-1 pitch on the way, swinging fouled back. Count goes full to 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out to lead off the bottom half of the 4th inning. Here comes the full count pitch on the way. Breaking ball runs in too tightly and it hits the knee of Hazel Martinez. He'll take his base down the first base. And that will bring up Bobby Stang here with a runner on at first. It's like a breaking ball that Chaffee tried to break off the inside corner. Martinez knew it was going to be a ball anyways, just slid the feet back, still ended up taking the baseball. Here's the lefty's first pitch on the way to Bobby Stang. A fastball that runs upstairs for a swing and strike, 0-1. Bobby 0 for 1 with a strikeout. That was back in the first inning. Had runners at the corners in the bottom half of the first inning. Unable to cash in, only were able to get one. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive back to the screen. A touch late on 84. Bobby's now in a quick 0-2 hole. Leads the Doubledays in slugging at 541 and an OPS at 905. 3:06 entering into the ballgame. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss at a slider in the dirt. Bobby goes fishing after a pitch that bounced into 58 feet before the plate. One away, that will bring up Christian Malillo. That was also the 5th strikeout of the ball game for the left-hander. Christian hoping for a different set of circumstances. He ground out to an inning-ending double play his last time up, 0 for 1. The first pitch on the way, swinging a ground ball down the third baseline, but foul. Out of the reach of Jake Kernodle. Ends up by the Doubledays bullpen. Malillo's more natural side, the right-handed side. Always has been a natural right-handed hitter. The 0-1 pitch on the way, swing and a miss at a 71-mile-an-hour changeup pulled off the outside corner for 0-2. Left side's more of his contact-oriented side. However, his 2 home runs this year have come from his more contact side. The left-hander looks in. Hazel Martinez led off the inning with a walk. He's aboard at first. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way. Fastball runs up and away for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Infield still shifted into a double play depth with the corners in Matt Thompson and Grady Mead pinched up the middle. Colin Houck holding on Martinez aboard at third base. Make that first. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball swung on and lifted. Left field, shallow. Down the line, moving over is Kieran Gagno. He's there to make the catch. Retreating back is Martinez. 2 away for the Doubledays in the 4th inning, and that will bring up A.J. Wenrich. It's been an interesting year for A.J. so far, entering in this ballgame at a $163. Popped out to the third baseman in foul territory his last time up. But out of his 13 hits, almost half of them are extra base hits. He has 6 doubles. Move over to first base, and Martinez keeps his left foot planted on the bag. He's not going anywhere. Back in standing. That left center field gap is absolutely open. Kieran Gagno playing deeper down the left field line. Here comes the first pitch on the way to Wenrich. A fastball at 83 runs upstairs for ball 1. Auburn was such a high-powered offense with a team OPS of 625 and a team slugging of 343. That's a top of the league's leaders. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Swinging a foul off the catcher's mitt of Henry Juwan. Count evens up at 1-1. Doubledays versus Jamestown pitching so far in only 2 games played, batting .239. Scored 11 runs on 16 hits. So they've struck out 16 times. Line drive over to third base, swung on off the heel of the glove of Kernodle. And moving up to second base is Hazel Martinez. A.J. Wenrich aboard on an error by Jake Kernodle. His second one of the summer. The 37th error on the year for Jamestown. And that will bring up Emil Sander with an opportunity to maybe make the defense pay for that mistake. 2 runs came in to score on a Jamestown error by a third baseman. Michael Woolley hit a flying chopper with bases loaded. First pitch to Sanders, a fastball that runs above the eyes for ball 1. Well, you may see Auburn's errors at 30, feeling like that might be a little high. It actually makes them 3rd in the league in fielding percentage at 969. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Breaking ball taken down in the dirt for ball 2, 2-0. 7 more errors for Jamestown at 37. Entering into the ballgame at a 961 team fielding percentage. That was back in the middle of the pack. Couple looks over at second. Here comes the 2-0 pitch on the way to Sanders. Swinging a line drive off the end of the bat, and it floats down the right field line for a base hit. In to score is Martinez. Getting the wave around third is Wenrich. The throw goes into the cutoff man. Wenrich with the stop sign at third base. But Emil Sander capitalizes on the mistake by Jamestown. It's an RBI single that brings the Doubledays lead to now 2. Looks like it was a fastball, maybe even a changeup off the outside corner. Sander threw the head of the bat out. Caught the very end of Colin Houck, the first baseman, made a leap, but it was down the line. And it was down to the corner. Second run in for the Doubledays in this ball game. Second RBI of the summer for Sander. First pitch in the dirt taken for ball 1 to James Mason. So the air does come back to hurt Jamestown like we were hoping it possibly could. Runners at the corners here with 2 away. Sander with excellent speed aboard at first. The 1-0. Swinging a line drive into left field for a base hit. James Mason cracks the scoreboard for the first time this year. It's his first RBI. A.J. Wenrich comes across to score. And he's aboard, and his error that he got aboard with comes around to score as well. So the inning should have been over a couple of pitches ago, and now back-to-back singles for the Doubledays puts runners at first and second with 2 outs. Another run in. It's 3-0 our score. And Auburn continues just to figure out this Jamestown pitching staff. As another left-hander is starting to get loose in the bullpen right now for the Tarp Skunks. But how about the start of the ball game for the Doubledays? 1 run in the first inning, and then a couple of goose eggs in the second and third, and then here 2 runs in the fourth inning. All stemming from an error that came by the third baseman, Jake Kernodle. It's his second error of the year. Let's put Jamestown in a more of a pressured spot here. So now Holcomb with some run support. He can relax a little bit more into the dugout. I'll bring up Hal Walker Jr. with the inning still continuing with 2 outs. Hal 0 for 1 with a strikeout. First pitch on the way. Fastball runs upstairs high for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Bullpen still stirring for Jamestown, looking to find a way to get out of this fourth inning. Only playing a 7-inning game in this one, so we're in a tight spot. The 1-0 pitch on the way, swing and a miss. A good breaking ball in the inside corner gets Walker out in front. Count will even up at 1-1. These 7-inning ball games, they go along so quick, and they also feel just like such a sprint to get to the finish. Insurance aboard at second and first. 2-way. A mover to first base. Back in diving safely is James Mason. He was mentioning to Logan Matson, the first base coach, asking him if he was too far off. First baseman and Colin Houck was in his back pocket and slipped right in the back door. Was lucky enough for Jamestown that the first baseman got there and the throw didn't go away. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball off the end of the bat down the right field line. Going back is Houck and into foul territory. Paul Catanelo, the right fielder, tracks it down right next to the retaining wall to retire the side. 2 more runs come across the score for the Doubledays. They take the 3-0 lead to the 5th inning. Moving along to the top half of the 5th inning, the Doubledays added 2 in the bottom half of the 4th inning, thanks to RBI singles by Emil Sander and James Mason, as it will be the meat of the order. 5, 6, and 7 due up against the Tarp Skunks against Huxley Holcomb, who's retired 7 in a row so far. As the left-hander deals the first pitch on the way, a nasty breaking ball on the back foot gets a swinging strike, 0-1. Now Huxley's now starting to feel that good breaking ball now on the inside corner. He's been trying to hit the back door a couple of times. Hasn't found the snap in, but is certainly liking it on the front side. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. A bunt gets squared around, but it's poked foul back behind Bobby Stang, and now the count runs 0-2 on Matt Thompson. Yes, the comparison between both of these ball clubs for Jamestown and Auburn. The hitting is around the same at a .236 for both ball clubs. In fact, the on-base percentage for Jamestown just about 6 points higher. The 0-2 pitch on the way from Holcomb, a hammer of a breaking ball taken in the dirt for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's the slugging percentages that makes up the difference for the Doubledays. A .343 compared to a .299. Here comes Holcomb's 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and missed. Strike 3. Top of the zone outside. Strikeout number 4. Back-to-back strikeouts for Huxley Holcomb. 1 away. That will bring up Grady Mee. Well, it's the combination of the tough breaking ball and then the fastball piggybacked on it. Holcomb's continuing able to snap in a good breaking ball off the back foot. That fastball just wide open, exposed. The first pitch, fastball runs down low for ball 1. Especially with that arm angle too. Anything that just snaps in and makes it tight on right-handers. So usually you do like a platoon option. But right-handers are having trouble against Holcomb this year. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball runs just a touch outside for ball 2, 2-0. A couple of borderline pitches to begin the at-bat for Grady Mee. Takes a look in, gets his sign from Bobby. Here comes the 2-0 pitch on the way from Holcomb. Fastball runs a little tight inside for ball 3. 3-0 the count, and most likely there will be a red light for Grady Mee in this at-bat. He is 1 for 1 with a base hit after all. Looks in, here comes the 3-0 pitch. Fastball runs outside for a called strike 1. Count goes to 3-1. Looks in and gets his sign from Bobby. Setting up away. 3-1 pitch coming home. Fastball just a tick low for ball 4. So it's a 5-pitch walk to Grady Mee that puts a runner aboard at first. And that will bring up Zach Kent. Well, in a smaller sample size, Huxley has faced a lot more right-handers than he has left-handers, so take this with a grain of somewhat salt. Healthy lead at first base by Mee with 13 bags. First pitch on the way from Holcomb. Change up, pulled the string, but it's missed outside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Right-handers in 77 at-bats are batting a .169 on Holcomb this year. 27 strikeouts. First pitch misses down low for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Only 13 hits allowed to right-handers, 2 of those being doubles. Has walked 8 right-handers. Like I said, those 27 strikeouts tell a lot of the story. A move to first base. Looks a good one. Do they have him picked off? No. Walker Jr. Heads going straight to the heavens after the field umpire made the call. They had Mee picked off. Took a step too much to his right and then had to make a quick transition back to the bag. Somehow evaded a tag. Quick pitch on the way. Line drive down the left field line. It's fair. Christian Melillo will catch this before it heads to the corner. It ricochets back to him. Runners move up to second and third. It's a 1-out double down the left field line. Puts runners at second and third with 1 away. And that will bring up the left fielder, Kieran Gagno. Well, this is what happens when you get a couple of borderline pitches that just miss the corners. Leaves you with having to throw an ultimatum fastball right over the heart of the plate. And it did not get heavy contact, though, by Zach Kenny. Kind of just threw the barrel of the bat at it somehow. Made a decent enough contact to flick it over the head of James Mason at third down the line. 2-0 pitch with the infield pulled up a little bit tighter. Breaking ball misses down low for ball 1. Well, Kevin Dolan, Hal Walker Jr., and James Mason all playing up or halfway in the infield. Carson Gross playing deep. The 1-0 on the way. Fastball runs inside, but taken for a strike. Count evens up at 1-1. So more fans start to make their way into the ballpark with Game 2 starting approximately 30 minutes after the conclusion of this one. Here comes the 1-1 pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive foul, first base side off into the distance. Versus left-handers, Huxley has certainly done his job as well, but the numbers aren't as bright considering that he's seen more right-handed at-bats. The 1-2 pitch on the way, swinging a line drive roasted towards the dugout of Jamestown over the netting foul. Against 14 batters so far this year for, make that 18 batters face so far this year for Huxley against left-handers. 1-2 pitch, breaking ball misses outside for ball 2, 2-2. But against left-handers in those 18 at-bats, he's walked 3, struck out 3. Only giving up 3 hits. Left-handers batting .214 compared to a little less numbers on right-handers. The 2-2 pitch on the way, swinging a chopper over the third. Mason has it, will go home. The throw to the plate is down and low. Mason trying to catch the runner at home plate instead of taking the out at first base. So a run is in to score. A runner moves up to third, and now there's runners at the corner still with 1 away. A decision made in the making. Mason claps his glove down to third base, maybe thinking if he had to play to do it over again, would just take the easy out at first base and let the run come in to score. But now with first and third here with 1 away, makes things a little more interesting with Jared Munoz up. Takes a look over at first base, the first pitch. Fastball taken for a called strike 1 inside. Off the bag at second, make it at the bag at first base. Gagno is inching a little bit further once the ball across home plate. Got to worry about that delayed steal. They've shown it a lot against us already. Fastball misses outside. Make that a changeup outside for ball 1, 1 ball and 1 strike. Evens up the count. 3-1 now our score here inside Falcon Park. Jamestown got their first run of the ball game. Hart takes his lead. Huxley delivers the 1-1. Fastball runs outside for ball 2, 2-1 now. Well, the walk certainly does come across to Hurt. You don't want to have that double come across either if you can get a ground ball right to your shortstop. Healthy lead at first base. Here's the 2-1. Swinging a line drive foul. Now the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still sunny skies overhead with the clouds just erupting in a couple of different patterns overhead, but the rain and the rest of the wetness as the 2-2 pitch misses outside for ball 3. Count runs full 3-2. But the rest of the precipitation should hopefully have gone and passed overhead. Appears a right-hander has started to get loose in the Doubledays bullpen. Looks like it's Joe Gleason, the right-hander. Little pause. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Runner takes off. He's caught in a hot box between first and second. The throw will go to Carson Gross, walking the runner back. The runner takes off for home plate. The throw to Bobby Stang is wide and up the line. A run comes across to score. Moving up to second base is Kieran Gagno. So the Doubledays had 3 outs, maybe 2 outs possibly, in the course of the last 2 batters. 2 runs have come in to score. It makes this a 1-run ball game, and now time is called as here comes Ben Julian. Will go out to have a chat with the Doubledays on defense. But, oh, goodness, you had an opportunity to get a runner out at first base. You have a man picked off. You have him in a rundown. And you have a man dead to right at the plates and a wide throw. And it's first Doubledays error of the ball game. Error number 6 on the season for Carson Gross. Puts error number 31 on the year for the Doubledays. Puts another run in. Still one away with a runner in scoring position representing the tying run now. And like we mentioned, these are just 7-inning games here. So it seems like every single run will certainly matter when we get to this point. Jared Munoz, still the batter, has yet to see a pitch come in. Gagnon with the lead off second base. Holcomb looking back. The first pitch. Make that ball 4 down low. Excuse us. So it is a 1-out walk. Puts runners at first and second for Colin Houck, the first baseman at the bottom of the order. Gleason's hot and ready. He's waving the cap down towards the dugout. So who knows when Huxley Holcomb's last batter would be. Taking a look at second, Gagnon dancing off the bag. No one around him to keep him close. Holcomb still staring him down. Here's the pitch. There goes the runners. Pitch is taken. The throw to second base is going to be tagged in time to get the runner at second base. So Jared Munoz cut down on the base pass. The second time Bobby Stang has taken care of a double steal, getting the back runner aboard at second. Two-away runner at third base now with 2 outs. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Breaking ball taking over the heart of the plate for a called strike 1. A lot of action so far in this game 1 here. Still have a whole nother 7 to play later on. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball taken outside off the plate for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. This most likely will be Holcomb's last batter. The top of the order, and Paul Catanalo is looming on deck. Here's the 2-1 pitch on the way. Fastball runs right on the black of the inside corner for a called strike 2. And now the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 away. 3-2 our score. The Doubledays with a 1-run lead. 2 in for Jamestown. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Huxley Holcomb fired up on the mound. Is able to escape the jam, but does not get the help he needs from his defense to keep this game a little bit more in distance. We now go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. The Doubledays need to get those runs back. They're leading 3-2. Moving forward in this one here in the bottom half of the fifth inning, the Doubledays gave up 2 runs defensively. We'll have Kevin Dolan, Carson Gross, and Fernando Espinal leading things off in the bottom half of the fifth inning against newly entered left-hander Andrew Ayers. So the Doubledays day does not get any easier from Jamestown left-handed pitching. They have a whole slew of them in the bullpen. Andrew this year, Mr. Ayers, a 2.78 ERA, 3-1 on the year so far. Takes a look in, delivers the first pitch on the way to Kevin Dolan. It's a fastball running outside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. 22 2/3 innings pitch. He's given up 23 hits, 9 runs, 7 of those were earned. Walk 13, struck out 21. Opponents batting .256 against him this year. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball runs down and inside for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. And here's a local to Buffalo, New York. Left-hander for St. Bonaventure, Abani. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way. Fastball runs outside for ball 3, 3-0. And that would be the dream start for the bottom of the fifth inning. A newly entered pitcher on for Jamestown, and then you have a first pitch or first batter you face is a walk, and speed would be aboard, especially with the top of the order coming up next. Little breath. Here's the 3-0 pitch on the way. Fastball runs arm side on the outside corner for a called strike at 3-1. And Shafi's day, going 4 innings, gives up 5 hits, 3 runs. 2 of those were earned. Walked 1, hit 1, struck out 5. Here comes the 3-1 pitch on the way. Swinging a tapper off the end of the bat. Shallow right field. Moving over is Catanalo. He's there in right center field to make the catch. And there's out number 1. That'll bring the top of the order back up to Carson Gross. Carson with a 1-for-2 night so far. A base hit in the first inning. Stolen bag and a run scored, and then was a strikeout victim in the third inning. 3:21 local time here inside Falcon Park. We'll probably get game 2 started just a little bit after 5 o'clock. First pitch. Fastball runs outside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. We gotta like these earlier Sunday games. Don't get me wrong, we do like the night games at the ballpark. Have all the morning to yourself of the afternoon, and then you get to the ballpark around 3 to 4 o'clock. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball tails in the inside corner for a called strike to even up the count at 1-1. First matinee game we've played so far this year, doubleheader. Played plenty of those so far. We have a couple of more slated on the docket for the next couple of ball games. Rain delays, smoke delays, we got to make them all up. Here comes the 1-1 pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive. Left field, going back on it is Kieran Gagno. He's there in front of the warning track to make the catch for out number 2. Back-to-back quick flyouts on the afternoon so far for Andrew Ayers. 2 away, and that will bring up Fernando Espinal. Well, if the game continues at the pace we're at right now, we could possibly be able to get game 2 in a little bit closer to 4:30. Don't even need a pitch clock here in this league. These games all fly by so quick. Here's the first pitch on the way. Check in down low, a breaking ball for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. The wind back to a calm little breeze blowing slightly in from left center field. Ayers looks in. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Espinal. Swung on a foul ball back to the glove. Count will even up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Seeing a look of colleges on this Jamestown Tarp Skunks. You have a couple of Finger Lakes community colleges. Fairfield, St. John's. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Swinging a foul tip off the end of the bat by Espinal. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's what's got to be nice for a lot of these guys to go from their colleges into summer ball and then find some old teammates who you possibly play against. I know Benji Reese Has seen a couple of teammates on the Syracuse Saltcats when we've played them in the exhibition games. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way, swinging a fly ball down the first baseline, foul out of play. And we'll try it now at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sam Huff and Teddy Nelson find some teammates from Bates College over when we played Geneva. Riley Brody finds a couple of Ithaca teammates when we head out to Newark. Teammates all around. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Espinal goes chasing upstairs for a high fastball at 85. Comes up empty, and it's a 1-2-3 fifth inning for the Doubledays. We now go to the 6th inning. Auburn still holding on to a tight 1-run lead. It's 3-2. Well, a surprise for Huxley Holcomb. He's back out for another inning of work. A little shocked to see that. And got the hug from Ben Julian coming out of the top half of the 5th inning, but he's out for another one. The first pitch on the way, swung on and missed outside for a first pitch fastball off the outside corner. Paul Catanalo will lead us off for Jamestown. Top of the order, Catanalo, Guggens, and Juwan. The left-hander's 0-1 pitch, squares around, drops a bunt by Catanalo. Holcomb's got it, spins, wheels, fires. The throw to first base is just not in time. Field umpire just ahead of the call. The foot of Catanalo just beat the ball to the glove of Hal Walker Jr. And that will bring out Ben Julian. He wants a quick chat with the field umpire. As instead, nope, he's going after to go get Huxley Holcomb. It's like his night is done. Joe Gleason from the bullpen. He's going to make his way on. Huxley hits catcher Bobby staying up before making his way off towards the third base dugout. He pitched well. But we have a new pitcher to tell you about. It's the hard-throwing right-hander from Mansfield University, Joe Gleason, on to take over here in the top half of the 6th inning. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Falcon Park. Huxley Holcomb's night is done. He goes 5 innings, gives up 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 of those were earned. Walked 3, struck out 5. He is responsible for the runner in Catanalo on at first base. Joe Gleason takes over. A hard-throwing right-hander from Mansfield University, 1-1 on the year so far. Delivers the first pitch, squaring around and bunting is Googans. He pulls the bunt back after a fastball runs inside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. 2.46 ERA for Gleason after 14 2/3 innings pitch. He's given up 8 hits, 5 runs, 4 of those were earned. Walked 7, struck out 15. Moved back to first base, in there safely. Catanalo the dive back in. Reached on a bunt single to lead us off in the 6th inning. That's what pulled the plug on Huxley Holcomb tonight. Here comes the 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball runs upstairs for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes at a fastball at 87 above the letters. Infield pinch up the middle. Dolan and Gross. Mason playing in on the grass. Here comes a 2-0. Runner bluffs a move over at first base. A fastball catches the corner for a called strike. It's 2-1. This is the aggressive base runner we're talking about from Jamestown. They've been doing this all year. 101 stolen bags, only been caught 26 times. The most aggressive running team in the league. There goes a runner on a pick off the throw to first base. Walker's got him. The throw to Carson Gross. He's going to chase him all the way back into the bag. Applies the tag on the numbers for an out number 1. Joe Gleason picks off a runner at first base. And that's the aggressive base running that certainly hurts Jamestown. We mentioned, though, 26 caught stealings out of 101 successful attempts. You're going to run into a ton of outs when you try to will so many things in action. The 2-1 pitch on the way. A good fastball runs on the inside corner at 89 for a called strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, now 1 away. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Fastball taken above the hands for ball 3. Now the count runs full at 3-2. Definitely want to take advantage of the pickoff after the bunt single. The 3-2 pitch on the way. Fastball runs upstairs for ball 4. So it's a 1-out walk on 3-2. That will bring up Henry Juan, the catcher. Well, the first batter that Gleason sees. Ward a free pass. Has to work around with a runner at first base, but with a sinker baller on the mound, it usually looks a little bit nicer that way. A first pitch slider, take in the throw to second base on a delayed steal. They have another runner caught in between first and second. It's another delayed steal that ultimately gets gunned down by Bobby Stang once again, and he can't make this up. How many times Jamestown has been caught on the bags this game alone? Caught stealing, picked off, caught stealing. The 1-0 pitch from Gleason. Swung a line drive, roasted down the third base line. That's a fair ball, tucked into the corner. Taking a wide turn around first base and motoring into second is Henry Juwan. And a snap of the finger coming from Jordan Buzzil, the third base coach and the manager of Jamestown. What were to happen if they stayed a little more conservative? Then that double happens down the line. You might have a tie ball game, maybe even a lead. 2 away now with the runner in scoring position. The first pitch on the way. Slider swung on and fouled down the right field line by Jake Kernodle. 0 for 2 so far this afternoon. A line out and a strikeout victim so far for the cleanup man. Healthy lead at second. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive through the wickets of Ray Bryan, our home plate umpire. Now the count runs to 0-2. And Michael Sills is warming up in the bullpen, the closer for the Doubledays. Ready to throw when needed. Top of the 6th inning in a 1-run ball game, tying run and scoring position. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive foul. Back to the screen once again. Oh, wow. Here's the bad boy for the Doubledays laying out for the baseball coming from the top shelf of the netting. Oh, my goodness. Gets a good round of applause by the crowd on hand. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the play. A slider taking in the dirt for a ball. 1-2 the count. Gleason got his foot caught again in the turf inside Falcon Park. Happens once a game. He takes a slip and dive. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way. Stank setting up in the pitch. Slider taken down low for ball 2, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The amount of bizarre baseball occurrences that have happened in this game up to this point. So many caught stealing, so many runners picked off, so many aggressive, overly aggressive, maybe a ground ball down the line, foul past the diving glove of James Mason onto the bullpen. Tried again at 2-2. Every game so far, though, between the Doubledays and the Tarp Skunks has always ended in somewhat of an exciting finish. Here's the 2-2 once again. Slider taken over the inside corner for strike 3. Joe Gleason slams the door as well once he gets a pickoff, and then a strikeout looking retires the side. We now go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. The Doubledays still leading 3-2. In between innings here, as we move to the bottom half of the 6th inning, Jordan Buzzell, the manager for the Tarp Skunks, had his men out in front of the dugout, ripping into them. Maybe not more ripping into them, but more getting on their cases after a lot of base running mistakes have certainly maybe have costed them the lead here in the 6th. Hazel Martinez will lead things off. The first pitch is swung on foul, third base side out of play. 0-1 the count to the Doubledays designated hitter. An RBI single in the 1st inning and then hit by a pitch. He later came around to score in the 4th. Nice 1-for-1 night with an RBI and a run in. Infield shifted to the pull side. Here's the 0-1. Fastball tails back to the inside. Make that the outside corner for a called strike 2. And Ayers doesn't have the velocity that we've seen from a couple of the other arms so far, but his movement is absolutely unworldly. About 3 or 4 inches of break on the fastball. The 1-2 pitch on the, make that the 0-2 pitch on the way is a slider taken outside for ball 1. Has so much arm side. Starts a fastball almost on the other batter's box, and it snaps back onto the plate outside. Catcher sets up upstairs and inside. The 1-2 pitch on the way, swinging a line drive right to the only man on the left side of the infield. A little bobble by Jake Kernodle. The throw to first base is in time to get Martinez. who isn't the most fleet of foot, so lucky enough for Kernodle, the knockdown didn't hurt him that much. That will bring up Bobby Stang, looking to get off the snide, 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Four men retired so far for Ayers since entering on last inning. Here's the first pitch to Bobby Stang, swinging a ground ball to the third baseman. This one much more routine. Kernodle's throw is high, pulls Colin Houck off the bag, but lands back on for out number 2. So back-to-back ground outs for the Doubledays to begin the 6th inning. That will bring up Christian Melillo. 0 for 2 afternoon for Melillo as well. Ground out victim in the 1st inning on a double play. And a pop out victim in the 4th. First pitch is a fastball that runs up and away for ball 1, 1 ball, and no strikes. And we have to once again mention the left center field gap for Melillo is wide open. Gagno, the left fielder, playing deep the line. As a fastball runs inside off the plate for ball 2, 2-0. Zach Kent, the center fielder, playing a little more shallow, maybe more regular depth out in left field, but that left center field alley looks wide open for Christian to go fishing for. Infield pulled around to the left side, the 2-0. Fastball runs back over the heart of the plate for a called strike. It's now 2-1. See more and more people make their way into the ballpark, getting ready for the second leg of this one. Bottom of the 6th inning. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. A little waving out in front of us. Change up in the dirt. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Michael Sills ready to enter on to close this thing out in the top half of the 7th. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way. Fastball runs above the letters for ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. If the at-bat can get to the next batter, it would be A.J. Wenrich. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Catcher sets up in. The pitch to Melillo. Tapper foul down towards the on-deck circle to A.J. Now we'll try it again at 3-2. The last batter to reach via a free pass. You got to go back to the 4th inning on an error by the third baseman, Jake Kernodle. A couple batters before that was a traditional hit by a pitch. Here comes the 3-2 pitch on the way to Melillo. Breaking ball runs outside for ball 4. So it's a 2-out walk that adds some insurance to the bases. And a good chance for AJ to crack one into the gap and find a way to bring Christian in. We'll get ready to come back to the ballpark here for game 2. Cooper Polkovich will take the ball for the Doubledays, looking to get a season, continue the doubleheader sweep. The first pitch, fastball runs inside off the tip of the glove and bounces away from the catcher, Henry Juwan. Moving up to second base is Melillo. So now insurance is aboard at second with 2 outs and good speed at that. Auburn looking to win their first game 1 of a doubleheader this year. Split the last doubleheader back against the Niagara Power last Tuesday. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Wenrich. Fastball runs inside, but taken on the corner for a called strike to even up the count at 1-1. And now time is called as they're going to elect to have Wenrich intentionally walked. Interesting development here. So instead of going to a pitch to A.J. Wenrich, 0 for 2, hitting a .163 on the year, they're going to elect to go with the guy who doesn't exactly hurt with the power numbers, but is already 1 for 2 with an RBI single in this one. And Emil Sander. So interesting development. Second time the Doubledays have had an intentional base on balls this year. The first pitch to Sanders, a fastball that runs outside almost through to the backstop. Henry Juwan, the catcher, was right there waiting patiently for the baseball, though, in the other batter's box. Well, Emil said he's looking to try and drive the gaps now. The outfield has been drawn in. If he can find the gap and let it skip on by, he can let everyone run. There goes the runners. The pitch is taken inside. Malillo's the only one who got the jump. He's aboard at third base. Wenrich holds up at first. So it's a stolen bag. Number 9 on the year for Christian Malillo. Wenrich stayed home at first base. 2 outs, runners at the corners. 2-0 count to Emil Sander. James Mason would await on deck if the at-bat could move on to the next batter. See if the Doubledays will try anything sneakily on offense to try and steal another run across. 1-run game, 3-2 our score. The 2-0 pitch to Sanders, swung on and missed. Make that a foul tip into the glove for strike 1. Sander flicked the single down the right field line for the RBI single back in the 4th inning. He brought in Hazel Martinez. Catcher sets up inside off his haunches. The 2-1 pitch, line drive right to the third baseman and Jake Kernodle. The throw to first base is in time. Emil Sanders stung it hard, but stung it right to the glove of the lengthy third baseman. We now go to the 7th inning. Here comes Michael Sills in to shut this one down. That closes the book on Joe Gleason. After 1 inning of work, only gives up 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Hands the ball off to the closer, Michael Sills out of Wofford College. The closer for the Doubledays throwing a 1.86 ERA, 0-3 on the year so far. 2 saves, 9 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 5 hits, 8 runs. 2 of those were earned. Has walked 6, but struck out 13. And he's got the meat of the order, Matt Thompson, Grady Mee, and Zach Kent to lead off. The first pitch on the way from the hard-throwing right-hander is a fastball at 91 that misses off the plate inside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Thompson an 0 for 2 night so far, ground out and a strikeout. Sills patience. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive foul down the first base side. Michael really bringing in the hard fastball on the hands. The first one at 91, this one at 90. That's where he'll live. He'll go no lower than 88 on the fastball. Does bring in a wipeout nasty slider as well. Bobby setting up inside yet again. Here comes the 1-1 pitch on the way from Sills. A good fastball runs on the hands at 88 for a called strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out to lead off the top of the 7th inning, the final inning of regulation here tonight. Game 1 of 2 doubleheader. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way. Slider, cued, end of the bat, dropping in over the head of Kevin Dolan into right field for a base hit. It's a 2-out single, brings the tying run on at first base. And now the only question is, what does Jordan Buzzell want to do here? He's already sent guys running into outs before tonight already. Doubledays have been very grateful for the amount of outs they have gotten on defense so far. Sills ready. Here's the first pitch. Bunt gets squared around. Taken at the knees for a called strike on Grady Mee. He's 1 for 1 with a walk. And now with the sacrifice showing already, that brings James Mason onto the infield turf. Getting ready to get close and personal with me, trying to cut down the bunt attempt. Sills from the first base side of the rubber. Sends a move to first base. Back in, diving safely at the bag. Well, we need to also mention that Sills has a fantastic move to first base. Ended the ball game back in Jamestown with a pickoff. Little pause. Here comes the 0-1. Swinging a pop-up on the infield. James Mason heading towards the dugout, running out of room. This ball ends up landing inside the Doubledays dugout for a foul ball. So we'll try it now at 0-2, and more people have started to make their way into the ballpark, getting ready for the conclusion of Game 1 before the start of Game 2 in about a half hour. Sills working from the rubber. Leans over his left foot, gets his sign from Bobby Stang. Sets up away. He comes set. The runner with his lead off first base. Here comes the 0-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a foul right back to the screen. We'll try it again at 0-2. Thompson aboard at first base. 4 bag swipe this year, has been caught once. Has the right of a mitt on. Getting the start at shortstop today. We saw him at third base back in Jamestown. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way. Slider freezes me on the outside corner. At 78 mile an hour backdoor slider by Michael Sills. He gets the first out. And now all he needs is a ground ball to his middle infielders. And that should wrap a bow tie on this one. And that will bring up Zach Kent. He's been a tough batter to get, though, tonight so far. 2 for 2 with a base hit and a double. And a run scored. The first pitch. Swinging a pop-up. First base side, Walker Jr. coming in. Bobby Stang taking a look. But it ends up over the netting for a foul ball. No balls and a strike to Zach Kent with a runner at first base representing the tying run. Sills with 2 saves on the year. Here comes the 0-1 pitch on the way. Healthy slider taking over the heart of the plate for a called strike 2. This goes right back to the breaking ball after a tight fastball inside. What will he do here? Thompson, a short lead at first base, holding anchored. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way. Slider just a tick outside for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Zach Kent. Kent entering into this ball game batting a .154 with only 2 extra base hits. Here's the 1-2 on the way. Slider wipes out. Have the man picked off. The throw to first base is high. Hal Walker Jr. tries to land the tag back on. But Matt Thompson was dead to rights if Bobby Stang is able to send a good throw to Hal Walker Jr. at first base. My, that would have been the conclusion to that runner at first. Sills ready with the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss, a fastball at the top of the zone at 91. Gets a swinging strike 3, 2 away, back-to-back strikeouts for Sills. And now the Tarp Skunks are down to their final hope. It's Kieran Gagno. He's 0 for 2 with an RBI, fielder's choice, and a strikeout. With a breath, here's the first pitch from Sills. Fastball at 91 on the inside corner for a called strike. Oh, Michael's got the good fastball working today, has the slider as well. Short lead at first base. Here comes the 0-1 on the way. Swinging a foul back to the screen. It's now 0-2. Now the Doubledays are one strike away from improving to a 14-16 record. And depending on what happens in Niagara, the playoff picture looks a little more slimmer. Sills sets up. Bobby outside. He's ready. The 0-2 pitch on the way. Fastball taken. Delayed steal. The throw to second base. They ran into another out, and the ball game is over. Bobby Stain catches his fourth runner of the ball game. Or you could also say that Jamestown has run into their fourth out, and that is your ender. The Doubledays take game 1 of 2 by a final score of 3-2. The Doubledays improve on one-run games, going 2-5 on the year. We'll have a quick post-game little recap, and then we'll take a quick break, half hour. Be right back here on the Doubledays Baseball Network. It is game 2 between the Tarp Skunks and the Doubledays. And welcome back to the Doubledays Baseball Network. Auburn victorious in game 1 by a final score of 3-2. Huxley Holcomb, the winner in this one. He's now 2-2 on the year. Evan Chaffee, he is now 2-2 on the year as well. Michael Sills ends up with save number 3 on the year. So get ready, because we'll have game 2 coming up in about a half hour. Hopefully we'll get those lineups soon. But for right now, the playoff picture looks a little bit tighter depending on what happens through the rest of the league. Now Auburn is now 3.5 at the time of this broadcast. Games back of Niagara for that wild card spot. Doubledays improved to 14-16, 2 games below 500. And the Tarp Skunks still can't figure out a way to get the Doubledays yet. They are currently 0-3 on the season series. And the Doubledays have a possibility to sweep a doubleheader later this afternoon. We'll take a quick break here. We'll get you live right before first pitch here inside Falcon Park. We'll see you soon on the Doubledays Baseball Network.